Have you ever wondered how to cut dovetails, how to cut fine dovetails, how to cut them where you can sort of stagger that joint, how to cut those in thin stock? Well, my name is David Marks and I've got just the class for you. I've got a class coming up here in Northern California at my shop here in Santa Rosa. We're going to be doing what I call bandsaw dovetails. They're very similar to hand-cut dovetails. The only difference is that we'll be using the bandsaw as opposed to a handsaw to cut the dovetails. Now, one of the values of doing it that way is that, let's say you have a project where you've got to cut 6, 8, 10, 12 drawers, and you have a lot of multiple cutting to do. Once you set these up with the bandsaw, you'll have a jig and spacers, and it's very easy to cut through the pins and to make a very nice, elegant, thin pin on the dovetail. In other words, a very thin pin here, a thin neck on the pin, and you can do those I think a lot quicker than cutting them by hand. And if you want to cut, say, a dovetail for some thicker stock, like say a workbench or even a sitting bench, or anything where the stock is say 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches thick, the bandsaw lends itself really well to that. Now in the class, students will learn a system that I've used for 20 years or so that's worked quite well for me and for my students. What they'll learn about is a simple jig. It's a plywood jig that you can build at home in your own shop in relatively a short period of time. We'll use some spacers. We'll learn how to create your own setting. So if you want to play around with your own individual spacing, they don't have to be all in a row. They can be offset. It allows for half pins on the ends. And it's a great system. Once you've learned that system, we'll be cutting dovetails. And in the class, the project will be a box. So each student will have stock that's prepared for them in advance. We'll cut out these dovetails on the bandsaw. We'll learn how to sharpen chisels. And I'll show you a good system for guiding those chisels and chopping them so that the line comes out nice and straight and everything is nice and clean. So it should be a fun class. Like I said, each student will get to take home a finished box, and you'll also learn a lot about this unique system for cutting them on the bandsaw. So I'd ask you to go to my website, djmarks.com, and while you're there, take a look at our sign-up list for our electronic newsletter. It's a free newsletter. We have questions that come in, and I will put out answers that go out. We have announcements for classes that are coming up. And while you're at the website, take a look at some pictures and articles that I've written. So my name's David Marks. Hope to see you in one of my classes.